from FS Securities. We are an education and information firm on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. And every morning I go through what happened overnight on the global financial markets and try to forecast what we are most likely see on our market and those overseas in terms of stocks, commodities, foreign exchange and whatever, any instruments in the financial world. Trying to tell you what is hot, what is not, what you should hold and what you should fold. And by the way, if you have any particular feedback you would like to give us, why don't you review us, rate us and share it with other people that you know. Well, overnight you can see here that the American market for 3 days continuously we've seen rising trends. Yesterday 0.6% up for the Dow, the S&P 500 0.4% on top of the 0.7% the day before and 0.8% 3 days ago. So you can see that the American market is heading upward non-stop. The Nasdaq Technology Index, another 0.4% on top of the 1.5%, another 1.5% the day before. So you can see the rising trend. In Europe, the StoxX 50 index, which comprises most major European markets, was up 0.2% on top of the 2.3% the day before. The FTSE 100 index almost steady overnight. The DAX in Germany was down 0.4%, however it was up 2.7% the day before. In Japan, the Nikkei index was up 1.7% on top of the 2.2% up the day before. And in China, the Shanghai index was almost steady. And on our market yesterday, we were up 111 points, 1.9%, 6,037, and that is actually the highest point in 3 days, despite the 123 points decline. That's after the 2.04% decline 3 days ago, and we got to 5,927. We managed to recover all of that, and now we are well above that level. The futures this morning are indicating that the most likely the market will open either flat or 14 points lower. Gold shot up again. We mentioned to you several weeks ago that we were actually supporting gold and we should really get into gold and silver. Well, gold yesterday overnight was up 0.7% to 2,034 or 35 I could say, and that is the highest level ever in US dollars per ounce. Silver $26.13, well above the prices the previous 2 days. Copper also had a good day, however it's slightly below the closing price yesterday morning. That 0.85 cents is actually compared to the previous night close, but we actually like to compare apples for apples. These are the morning close, so we are $2.90 US per pound. Brent oil, again the highest level for quite some time. That is because it indicates the recovery in the world economy. And West Texas crude oil, $41.55. That could also be because of the hurricane, but this is actually the European oil. This is actually the US oil. The West Texas crude oil, $41.55 versus the European $44.43. Okay, soybeans down quite a bit, 1.6, 881, that's the lowest level for a number of days. The Australian dollar, 71.6, stronger than yesterday morning. And we'll give you 60.7 euro cents, 54.8 British pence, and 106 New Zealand. And as a matter of interest, if you're interested in iron ore price was actually up 1.6 the highest level in a long time, $117.90 US per ton. Aluminium was also higher. As you can see, we don't have aluminium here, but yeah, aluminium was also slightly higher. Bitcoin was trading at 11,245 US, down 15 US dollars overnight, and that converts to approximately 15,700 Australian dollars, actually down 105 Australian dollars overnight. Okay, we actually look at the charts and we pick the various indicators. The next slide I'm going to show you, we will show you the result of taking all the indicators. For the investor, we look at the monthly and the weekly. What you see here, this is the weekly and the daily. For the investor, we look at the monthly and the weekly. We pick up 5 out of 8 indicators, and if the 5 out of 8 indicators are showing bullish or bearish or neutral, these have to be confirmed by the indicators on the weekly. For the trader, we look at 5 indicators on the weekly, and that has to be confirmed by the same 5 or other 5 indicators out of 8. So let's look at, for instance, some of the indicators here. The stochastic for the Dow is bullish. The blue line is above the red and has entered the area here where we call the overbought, but it's still bullish as long as it remains in this area here, the 80% up. The parabolic stop and reverse, these are the dots. They are below the candles. Green candle means up day or up week. Red candle means down week. The parabolic stop and reverse below the candles, that's bullish. If you can see that orange line, that is actually the 9-week moving average. It's above the black line, which is the 21-week moving average. That is actually bullish as well. If the 9 is above the black, it's bullish. The candles happen to be above the black line, that's bullish, and it's heading towards maybe the most recent rise, which is 27,000 something, and who knows, before the election we might go all the way up to 29,000, provided the information coming from the American market are positive. And I'm going to show you in a minute how these fundamental factors have actually affected the market. You know, the retail sales, the number of cars sold, and so on. If we have 5 indicators here on the weekly, let's see if we can confirm them on the daily. The parabolic stop and reverse, the stochastic, the blue line above the red is actually bullish. We've got here the parabolic stop and reverse. We've got here the candle above, the dots above the candles, that is actually bearish. However, the 9-day is above the 21-day moving averages, that's bullish. And we might see other indicators beside what I've shown you here. They indicate that most likely we're going to have a bullish trend or bullish forecast for the Dow. Now look at our market. Stochastic for the weekly is bullish. We have those dots below the candles, that's bullish. However, the 9-week is almost touching the 21-week moving average, that is neutral. And again, we have to look at other indicators, and then we look at the daily. Stochastic is neutral, the blue line touching the red line, that's neutral. Parabolic stop and reverse above the candles, that is actually bearish. The non-day, that's the orange dotted line touching the black line, which is a 21, that's neutral. So I would say the ASX 200, that's our index, our gauge for our market, is most likely neutral. and these will be confirmed by the next slides. Okay, again, these are the weekly forecasts. We don't touch them until the end of the week. So at the beginning of the week, we said we are bearish on the American market. And that's appeared on Saturday morning, Monday morning. This is actually Wednesday morning, Tuesday morning, Monday morning. So you can see that there has been a change in the direction of the Dow after yesterday movement. However, the Nasdaq, we started the week with bullish. We continue to be bullish right through, and for the S&P 500 the same thing. Gold, okay, we've been gold for several weeks, as you can see here. This is on the 26th of July, the Saturday at the morning. We do that, and we said very strongly bullish for gold. On Saturday, the 2nd of August, we continue to be bullish, and the daily can see the confirmation. So you would have done very well trading gold and silver the last few days, if actually the last few weeks. And natural gas, we started the weekly bullish, but then got stronger and stronger right through the week. Corn, bearish right through from Monday morning all the way to this morning. The Australian dollar very strongly bullish for a number of weeks, as you can see here. We on 26th of July we were actually bullish, and we ended up bullish for the rest of the week so far. The same thing with euro. The euro currency bullish, and of course because the euro is stronger, the British pound is stronger, and we ended up with weak the US currency here. That's the basket, which comprises 7 different currencies, from the euro, the British pound, the yen, the Swiss franc, the Canadian dollar, and the Swedish krona. They are the currencies in the basket. Okay, now in terms of our sectors, you can see energy is bearish. That's the local markets. That's our market, the Australian market. Bearish on the energy, bearish on industrial. Industrial is made up of transportation, goods, usually goods. Okay, so we are bearish on the energy and bearish on industrial. We continue to be bearish on both of these sectors. All the others happen to be a mix between neutral and nothing bullish for the very aggressive trader or the conservative trader. So be careful here. Okay, and looking at the stocks, what happened. These are the changes in the price yesterday and the day before, and you can see that CIMIC, the old Leighton Holdings, bearish, even though CIMIC was actually 4.6% up yesterday. Well, you say, why is the market up yesterday by 4.6% and we remain bearish? Well, I guess I show you here the graph for CIMIC. What we see here is CIMIC has actually been falling for a long time, from $35 all the way down to when we had, this is the weekly, down to below $15, and then went up, and you can see for a number of weeks it's down. So despite that green candle, there isn't enough indicators on the weekly and the daily to say that green candle has changed the indicators. So that's the reason why we are still bearish on CIMIC. So we don't get to be confused with one day movement in CIMIC by 4.6%. Remember, it has fallen by a lot of weeks of drops. Okay, Suncorp, again 4.2% yesterday, and again if we look at Suncorp, you can see we've seen almost the same trend for Suncorp, all the way down, up, and then we've seen number of weeks, and this particular candle, which represents this week so far, that's the daily, is not enough to change the indicators. As you can see here, despite the green candle with reasonable volume, the parabolic stop and reverse is bearish. The 9-day is below the 21-day, it's bearish. The stochastic has changed into bullish. Not enough indicators to actually move. So we need to see what's going to happen to CIMIC and Suncorp today, and we see if there could be a change in the indicators. And we can actually have a look at those indicators in the middle of the day or around 2 o'clock in the afternoon to see if there is any change. Okay, Telstra, bullish. We've seen Telstra going up 1.5% 2 days ago, another 2.4% yesterday. Woolworths, nearly 1% 2 days ago, another rise of 2.2% yesterday. So these are the indicators which can actually are the basis of our trades for 1 or 2 days for the very aggressive trader, and for the investor we look over several months in the future. And by the way, this presentation will be on the website very shortly. Okay, we also like to see the volume. So yesterday we've seen a rise of 111 points, and we've seen 41% of all the stocks rising. That's the advances, as you can see, advances, and declines. 20% of all the stocks declined. However, look at the volume. So it wasn't a very encouraging day, despite there has been a rise in the various stocks. We like to see the volume up when the day rising stocks are also high, rather than seeing a decline. If you look at the last 5 days, we can see that the declines exceeds the advances slightly. And that also, if you look at 10 days in a row, again you can see the declines exceeding the advances. Okay, yesterday Zip, which is a company that we have been trading, is up 8.8%. Now we'd like to actually have a look and see the graph for Zip. Here we are, Zip. So we've had a good day yesterday, but then again Zip, which is actually one of those buy now, pay later, had a major drop number of days ago. Look, number of weeks, it was $1 many weeks ago, and shot up to nearly $8, dropped to $6, and now it's moving up again. Is it likely to continue to go higher? Well, depends on the IT technology sector. But at the moment, on the weekly side, the parabolic stop and reverse, a dot above the candles, that's bearish. That's only on the weekly. And the stochastic is neutral. The non-week above the 21 week, that's positive. And we need to look at other like the MACD, and if you can see here, I don't know, I'll show you. The MACD is bullish, RSI is bearish, DMI bullish. So there are various indicators, and if we have 5 out of 8 on the weekly, we need to see confirmation here by the daily. The parabolic stop and reverse above the candles, that's bearish. Stochastic starting to turn bullish. The 9-day is touching the 21, that's neutral. If you look at the volume, oh sorry, that's the MACD is, you can see the blue line below the red line, that's bearish. The RSI bullish, and the DMI bullish, the blue line above the red line. Now, we teach people in our courses, and we run many courses to teach people how to look at those indicators and build a technical analysis that has got 70 to 75% probability of success. And if you enjoy learning, so all you have to do is enroll in our courses, and you have to communicate with us, and we'll teach you how to look at indicators and build a good way to analyze the market. Okay, finally, we've got Zip, Mesoplast, and these stocks that are painted in yellow, they've had 2 days of rising. So for instance, Santos was up nearly 5% yesterday, and you go down here and you look for Santos. Where are you, Santos? I know, here we are. Santos was up nearly 0.8% the day before. So these companies painted in yellow, they've had 2 days of rises. Kogan, 3.3% yesterday, nearly 10% the day before. Now, is it worthwhile trading Kogan? Well, we showed you these rises early yesterday morning, and if you traded Kogan, you would have actually managed to make some profit during the day. Is it going to continue to go higher? Again, that's a good question. Again, now, in terms of announcement today that may actually have a bearing on the market, well, so far, we got some data from New Zealand. Unemployment rate, they expected 5.6% unemployment. Well, they had better unemployment figures. The unemployment rate is down to 4%, which is better than ours, I think. Our unemployment rate is above 5, I believe, maybe even higher. Now, in terms of what is likely to appear today, I'm going down. Tonight, the trade balance in America. The forecast is a deficit of $50.3 billion. In other words, they will import more than export. And because the American dollar is weak, that is not really good. When you're importing more than you export and your dollar, the currency is weaker, then obviously you pay a lot more. And final PMI in the US is below 50. Above 50 is good news, below 50 is bad news. So again, we'll look at that tonight as well. Figures that appeared already going down. The trade balance yesterday was worse than expected. We still exported more than we imported. We expected 8.8 surplus, while we ended up with only 8.2 surplus, still very positive. Retail sales better than expected, instead of 2.4, 2.7%. Cash rate remained at 0.25%, no changes. Commodity prices, there has been a drop in commodity prices. That is surprising because iron ore price has been going up in US dollars. However, our dollar has gained, so we have stronger currencies. So obviously when you convert that to Australian dollars, we see a decline. Construction index 42.7, it's below 50, that's negative. Okay, we scan the market. We look for stocks that happen to have better than moving average volume. For instance, here at the end of the week, we analyze the weekly average volume over 50 weeks. So here, this Sonic Healthcare, on Saturday, we've seen that over the last 50 weeks, the average volume per week is about 7.3 million. Well, last week, Sonic had 9.2 million, and the price over the week was up by 0.2%. Now we're going to see what happens to Sonic overnight in the daily scan. And if we continue to see Sonic on the daily, day by day, the price going up and the volume going up is worthwhile trading. Now, nothing on the bearish side at the end of the week. Now, but the end of the week, we've got some information here for the mid-cap, for the traders rather than the investors. Well, Nick Scali, as a matter of interest, last week was up by 6.7%, and the average volume over 50 previous weeks was 1.4 million, Well, last week on its own, we had nearly 2 million. So we want to see if Nick Scali continues to actually going up in price and going up in volume in the daily, which is going to follow this particular slide. On the downside, Monadelphous continue to appear week after week. The price of Monadelphous was up 7.8% and slight increase in the volume. Now so let's have a look at the daily. Well, Sonic continues, the price continues to go up and the volume continues to go higher. Coles Group appears for the first time on daily. The price of Coles was up 2.4% yesterday and slight increase in the average volume per day. Remember, the previous slide was actually the average volume per week, and this now we look at the 50-day average volume, and we've got here Coles average daily volume is nearly 4 million. Well, yesterday we had 4.4 million. So again, higher price, higher volume, we have an interest in it. And these are the companies. Nick Scali yesterday was up 2.8% and slight increase in the volume above the average daily volume. On the downside, we've got here some companies here that we may want to have a look at later on. As I mentioned, these will appear in our website shortly. After I finish this presentation, we'll actually put this presentation on the website so you can actually go back and review it. Okay, finally, everything we said today is actually off general advice only. If you really know your risk appetite, then you know how much risk you should take. We don't know your financial circumstances, we don't know your financial objectives, so therefore, before you take any action, please consult with us or with your professional advisor. Remember, there is no guarantee in trading. Everything has got risk and you need to understand your risk appetite. If you have any question to ask, all you have to do is ask. Well, here we are, George at FS Securities. FS stands for Full Service. fssecurities.com.au. You write to me by email and I'll respond to you. If you send me a text or you call me from overseas, 6161 is actually the country code for Australia. 61, you don't need a 0. 61411259526. Or you can actually, if you're ringing or you text me from anywhere in Australia, is 0411259526. Well, happy trading and make some money and be happy and enjoy trading.